not completely cold and, empty of emotion like some serial killers are.
Yeah, I mean, it does
And,
seem like he's got some feelings about what he's done.
Regret, and, like he would
It's like he does it, and then later is like, oh, I shouldn't,
Right. So, not in the defense of him, but, who he may have some kind of, episodes of blackout or some kind of weird psychological thing going on. That doesn't excuse it, obviously.
Some compulsive behavior.
But it's a little different than being there engaged the entire time and kind of doing this stuff to people.
Well, he's talked about a lot of the stuff that he did as a teenager, because you got to remember he was extorting, making threats that he was going to rape people, breaking and entering, he's doing drugs, getting kicked out of school.
Control.
Yeah. And he's later said that a lot of that was to get his mother's attention.
Really?
That he really was kind of doing, anything, getting money, stealing, all that stuff, and it was just to try to get his mom's attention.
Wow.
Because I guess, because he said, from an early age, he felt very, disconnected from his parents, and, that he wasn't, I guess, as cared for as his brother.
Well, yeah, that's crazy that it quite possibly could have went all the way back to that, being the time that sent him down that path of violence. And all those multiple relationships, almost like he was looking for something that he could never find.
Well, I mean, and it's pretty interesting to me, too, that he definitely seemed to have a victim type. I mean, they were all kind of young, good-looking women. But they were all friends and acquaintances. They weren't strangers.
Right.
So he was definitely, kind of preying to those that were close to him, killing in an area of, where he lived. It's not like he was going out of town and finding victims. I mean, he was just like, oh, hey, I live in the same town. I'm stationed with your husband, let me murder you.
Yeah, it's kind of, maybe the cops, I don't know what they were working with or when they got all their information, but, it's kind of surprising in the smaller communities here that maybe they didn't, come upon him sooner.
And all of them, I mean, he basically had some sort of contact with, through, the military. I met you at this bar, that kind of stuff. And really, Velma Gray is the only one that he didn't know. It was more of an opportunity situation that he took advantage of, and had those abduction qualities of he's trying to help her out. She's got a car wreck. He gets her in the car. Then, he kidnaps her, kills her.
Yeah, see, that one was more a little outside of his normal, situations, like some kind of a relationship or, who knows what happened, lots of drugs and drinking, partying all night. That's a little more cold and calculated there. So maybe, maybe that kind of disproves a little bit what we were kind of laying out there. Like maybe it is some kind of psychological episode
or that
psychosis.
He has some kind of pattern or something.
Well, that's just cold. He there wasn't an extended relationship, or I don't know what happened. I woke up, blah, blah, blah,
well,
drugs.
And some of these victims he's having consensual sex with.
Right,
and then
exactly.
Kills them.
But it's almost like he needed to, like you said, he had the opportunity and he just wanted to kill. So, yeah, I guess he's just like most other multiple killers.
And the medical examiner in several of these cases of autopsies with these victims said that it took probably about 4 minutes of pressure to strangle these victims. I guess they can kind of tell that from the victim's weight and all that stuff. And so you got to think about it. That's not really quick and efficient.
That's not easy either.
Easy way to kill someone.
It is not.
So that's the 4 minutes of that pressure, and
it's very hard.
That's gotta be pretty horrific.
People in the know say that is not easy physically to do to someone. It gives you all this time it's not like you shoot them or you stab them and it's over and you're like, oh my gosh, you're literally watching the life drain out of them. And it's a lot of work.
Well, and the other part of that too is, with a lot of these serial killers that you talk about, they, especially when they've got multiple victims, they almost want the victims to be found. I mean, you think about someone like BTK.
Oh, he was a total...
He's like, put them on display.
Media hog.
I want you to see this.
Look at my story.
I get some kind of sick pleasure out of, showing you what I've done.
To this day.
But this guy, Lesley Warren, I mean, he tried to move and hide these bodies. It wasn't like he just killed someone like, oh, hey, I'm going to leave you in this barracks where I've murdered you. It's like, no, I'm going to take your body. I'm going to throw it in some water. I'm going to try to bury you. I'm going to try to get rid of the evidence.
Right.
Which I think goes back to that whole thing of like, I feel immediately guilty about what I've done.
Right.
So I need to hide this because I'm ashamed.
Right.
Rather than being proud of it.
So it's a little different
Yeah.
than your average serial killer.
Yeah, kind of.
Or I guess the ones we know about.
But, hiding Hurley's body and leaving a marker so he would know where the body was, that almost makes me think of a lot of serial killers, how like it's almost like he wanted to go back to the body
He probably did.
To like fantasize about what he had done or something.
Or, yeah, somehow get reconnected to it.
Yeah. Well, he's in Central Prison in Raleigh, and I guess awaiting that death sentence if it ever comes.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to die of natural causes before it gets here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider he was convicted in 93, and of course there's like the appeals process, but this is 2019.
That's crazy.
26 years later, and he's still kicking it.
Yeah, we may be missing someone at some point at getting knocked back down or something. That's a long time.
So there you go, folks. That is the story of Lesley Eugene Warren, local Western North Carolina serial killer.
And no offense to any Warrens out there.